Buongiorno, buon popolo. This Sunday is Advent Sunday, marking the start of a new liturgical year. The Advent call is to wake up and prepare, and of course our hearts and minds are turning towards Christmas. But Advent is not focused on the birth of Jesus, rather on preparation for the end of time and the second coming of Christ. In the past few weeks at morning and evening prayer, we've been reading from the books of Daniel and Revelation, apocalyptic scriptures from the Old and New Testaments. Both books are full of visions and dreams of mythical beasts, terrible destruction and a collapse and renewal of the created order. The eye of faith allows us to read these texts as symbolic of their time of writing, a time of persecution, the collapse of empires and unforeseen natural disasters. In the minds of these authors, these events were portents of the consequences of human actions. Indeed, some Christians down the ages have focused on these texts to the exclusion of others, and the archetypal fire and brimstone preacher would draw heavily on the whore of Babylon or winged beasts or lakes of fire as a means of castigating their listeners. If, however, we can bear the purple poetry, we might recognize that the collapse of nature, the prevalence of violent death and evil stalking the land remain part of our human experience. Our prayers daily for people suffering from the war in Ukraine and from famine as a result of drought in the Horn of Africa help put some perspective on the discomforts we sometimes face. But even in our lives, collapse, disaster, finding ourselves on the receiving end of injustice or sheer plain evil. And so the biblical language catches part of what it is to be human. As we sing hymns with words like, "Lo, he comes with clouds descending, the Lord will come and not be slow, come thou long-expected Jesus," we are placing ourselves in the community of those who long for the transformation of how the world is. And to help us put this into words, we draw on the prophetic writings of Hebrew scriptures, especially Isaiah, with words of hope and comfort, of a time when God will raise up valleys and level mountains and make all paths straight, when all nations will gather to feast at God's mountain. Yet more poetic language, but this time describing a period when nature will be at peace with humanity. In our Advent worship, we will also hear the voice of John the Baptist, who called his listeners to repentance, to the amendment of their own lives, remembering that for nations and societies to become transformed, it begins with the lives of individuals choosing to live in ways that promote justice, peace, and the integrity of creation. We'll also hear from Mary and her song of high revolt, the Magnificat, echoing the words of Hannah in the book of Samuel, looking forward to a time when the poor will be raised up and the mighty laid low. Now, this is heady stuff, and it inspires the social and political consciousness of Christians. And we must allow it to encourage and inspire us in our daily living, in our political choices, and in our concern for those who have no power in the system. During Advent, we will have 4 quiet evenings, Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. in church, exploring the Advent message: love in a world of hate, joy in a world of sorrow, hope in a world of despair, and peace in a world of war. Please join us if you can, and please pray and consider how you might continue to fashion your life in a way that responds to the anticipated transformation of our world. The work of our eco group, the Christmas charities, the Mothers' Union appeal for the Women's Refuge, and Heaton Churches Together, Socks and Chocks for the People's Kitchen, or helping with our place of welcome, tackling social isolation, or recommitting time each day to pray. Don't forget, you can join us in church every day, Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. and 5 p.m, or online on Facebook, or on Sunday mornings or Tuesday evenings in church. And do not forget to live. Live as if each day was your last.